Welcome to English Rise. Take a moment. Slow your breathing. Let your mind settle. This video is not about getting rich overnight. It is not about lottery wins, tricks, or empty motivation. It is about something darker, deeper, and far more powerful. The way rich people think versus the way you probably think. Not the way they seem to think on social media. Not the fake luxury lifestyle. The internal patterns. The invisible rules in their minds that quietly shape their decisions, their actions, and their results. If you want more content that trains your English while challenging your mind at this level, consider subscribing to English Rise. Now let's begin. You probably grew up hearing things like, rich people are lucky. Rich people are greedy. Money changes people. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people must have done something wrong. Maybe you never said these things out loud, but you heard them. You absorbed them. They entered your subconscious quietly. Now look at your reality. You say you want more money. You say you want abundance. You say you want freedom. But deep inside, there is a conflict. A hidden part of you believes that being rich is dangerous, dirty, selfish, or simply not for people like you. So every time you try to progress financially, you are fighting not only your circumstances, but your own programming. You are trying to walk forward while your mind is pulling you back. Rich people are not better than you. They are not superior human beings. They are simply operating with a different mental software. They look at risk differently, time differently, work differently, money differently, themselves differently. They are not just doing different things. They are thinking from another place. If you try to copy their actions without changing your mindset, you will sabotage yourself. You will start a project, then quit. You will earn more, then find ways to lose it. You will get an opportunity, then tell yourself you don't deserve it. Because your internal system is still set to stay where you are. To change your financial reality, you must first change the way you relate to money, to effort, and to yourself. You must learn to think like rich people. Not to worship them, but to free yourself from the mindset that keeps you poor. Let's start with a simple question. When you see someone driving an expensive car, wearing a luxury watch, or living in a big house, what is your first thought? Be honest. The first thought, not the politically correct one. Do you think, wow, that's inspiring? I wonder what they had to learn, build, and overcome to get there? Or do you think, they're probably arrogant? Probably all on debt? They got lucky. Must be nice. People like that don't care about anyone. That first reaction reveals more about your relationship with money than any book you've read. Because your mind protects you from wanting what it believes is evil. If your subconscious believes that rich people are bad, shallow, cold, corrupted, then a part of you believes, if I become rich, I will become like that too. So you will stay safe. Safe in struggle, safe in lack, safe in complaining, safe in jealousy. This is how a poor mindset protects itself from growth. By poisoning your image of wealth. Rich people, the ones who actually built their wealth, not the ones who inherited it or just pretend online, do not see money as good or bad. They see it as a tool that can build, protect, accelerate, expand. They don't worship money. They respect it. They don't say money is everything. But they also don't lie to themselves and say, money doesn't matter. They know the truth. Money affects where you live, what you eat, how you protect your family, what kind of opportunities you can create, how much time you have to actually live. You don't have to love money, but if you despise it, you will never hold it for long. Think in difference. Number 1, rich people ask, "How can I?" Poor mindset says, "I can't." You see a course, a trip, an investment, a chance to start something. The poor mindset reacts, "I can't afford this. It's too expensive. People like me don't get this kind of chance." Conversation over. Door closed. No strategy, no creativity, just a wall. The rich mindset responds differently. "I don't have the money now. How can I afford this later? What would I need to learn, build, or change to reach this level? How can I create the value that justifies this reward?" One mindset kills the possibility in the first sentence. The other mindset keeps possibility alive. This difference, repeated thousands of times, creates different lives. Thinking difference, number 2. Rich people value time more than money. Poor mindset sells time cheaply. Poor mindset thinks, "If I save a little here, if I chase small discounts, if I do everything myself, I'm being smart." So they waste hours on things that don't matter. Spend time to save tiny amounts of money. Refuse to learn skills that could multiply their income because it feels too slow. Rich people understand something brutal. Money can grow, time cannot. You can lose money, learn, recover, and rebuild. But every hour you waste is permanently gone. So, rich people, pay to save time. Invest heavily in learning skills that increase the value of their time. Say no to low-value activities, even if they are easy and comfortable. A poor mindset asks, "How much does it cost?" A rich mindset asks, "How much time and future income will this save or create?" One works for survival. The other works for leverage. Thinking difference. Number 3. Rich people think in systems. Poor mindset thinks in single events. Poor mindset loves the idea of one big break, one big opportunity, one big job, one big win. It fantasizes about moments instead of building systems. It says things like, "If I just get this job, if I just move to that country, if I just get a raise, if I just start this one thing, and then everything will magically fix itself." But rich people know. Money follows systems, not moments. They think in terms of skills that produce consistent value, processes that can run with or without them, long-term relationships at networks, habits that compound over years. They are less interested in one lucky opportunity and more interested in, how can I design my life so that opportunities keep coming? One mindset chases, the other builds. Part 2. The money program you didn't choose. You were not born with opinions about money. You did not arrive in this world thinking money is good or money is bad. You learned, you absorbed, you watched, you listened, and slowly, silently, a money program was installed in your mind. Maybe you grew up hearing, "We're not rich people. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people don't care about others. People like us will never have that life." You saw stress around bills. You saw arguments about expenses. You saw fear, tension, and guilt tied to the subject of money. So your nervous system learned, money aka stress, money aka conflict, money aka tension. And there is a part of you that wants to stay away from stress. So every time life offers you a path that could lead to financial growth but requires risk, effort, or exposure, you hesitate, you delay, you self-sabotage. Not because you're lazy, but because your program says, more money, more stress. Stay where you are. It's safer. Meanwhile, people who grew up differently heard another kind of language. If we want this, how can we make more money? Invest in your skills. Money is a tool. Learn to use it. We don't have it now, but we can find ways to create it. They saw money treated as a challenge, a responsibility, a resource to manage and grow, not as a monster. So their nervous system learned. Money can be handled. Money can be learned. Money can be built. Later in life, both kinds of people say, I want to be rich, but they're not starting from the same internal map. One person is walking towards something they associate with power and freedom. The other is walking towards something they subconsciously associate with conflict and fear. Guess who moves faster? To think like rich people, you must first identify your own money story. Ask yourself, when you were a child, what did your parents say about money? How did they react when bills arrived? How did they speak about rich people? Did you feel that money was always missing? Did you feel guilty for wanting things? These memories are not just images in your head. They are instructions that your subconscious still follows. If your father always said, rich people are corrupt, then a part of you believes, if I become rich, I will be corrupt too. If your mother always said, we'll never be like them, a part of you believes, we're not that kind of people. We stay small. You cannot build a rich life on a subconscious identity that sees wealth as betrayal. So the first step is not to make money. The first step is to question what money means to you. Write it down, literally. Take a page and finish these sentences. Rich people are, money is, having a lot of money means, people like me usually. If I become rich, then don't filter. Don't try to sound smart. Let your raw answers come out. Then look at what you wrote like a scientist. Ask, are these beliefs helping me or trapping me? Are they based on truth or on fear and resentment? Do I actually believe this, or did I inherit it? This is not about blaming your parents, your culture, or your past. It is about realizing that you are still obeying scripts that you never consciously chose. Rich people do not blindly obey the scripts they were given. They write new ones. Part 3. How rich minds see risk and failure. There is one mental difference so deep, so fundamental, that it almost single-handedly separates rich thinking from poor thinking. Their relationship with risk and failure. A poor mindset says, what if I fail? What if I lose money? What if people laugh? What if it doesn't work? And then stops. The fear of loss is stronger than the desire for growth. So it avoids. Starting projects, learning new skills, changing careers, leaving comfort, investing in itself, out of fear. The logic is, better stay where I am than risk losing what I have, even if what I have is not enough. The rich mindset calculates risk differently. It also thinks, what if I fail? What if I lose money? But then it adds another question. What if I never try? What does it cost me to stay exactly where I am for the next 5, 10, 20 years? This is a different kind of fear. Not fear of short-term loss, but fear of long-term regret. Rich thinking understands. Failing at something often teaches you more than never trying. Losing controlled amounts of money is part of learning how money works. Rejection and embarrassment are temporary. Stagnation is permanent. While a poor mindset wants comfort in the present and pain in the future, a rich mindset accepts some pain in the present for more freedom in the future. It is a trade. It's not that rich people love risk. The smart ones don't. They use calculated risk. They ask, what is the worst case scenario? Can I survive it? What is the best case scenario? Is it worth the risk? How can I limit the loss if things go wrong? What can I learn even if this doesn't work? They see risk as a tool to be measured, used, and managed, not as a wall. They understand that there is another kind of risk that poor mindsets almost never consider. The risk of doing nothing. Staying in the same job for 10 years with no new skills, never learning about money, never improving their English, never building anything of their own. That is a quiet, invisible risk with a brutal price paid later in life. Most people are so afraid of visible failure that they choose invisible failure. They choose the failure of never becoming who they could have been. To think like rich people, you must start asking, what is the cost of remaining who I am now? If I keep my current habits, my current work ethic, my current relationship with money, where will I be in 5 years? In 10? In 20? If that future is unacceptable, then risk is no longer your enemy. Risk becomes the bridge between your current life and the life you want. Part 4. How rich minds use skills and leverage. Poor thinking is obsessed with earning more per hour. Rich thinking is obsessed with increasing the value of the hour itself. A poor mindset says, how can I make a little more with the skills I already have? How can I get a slightly better salary? How can I work extra hours? It sees income as a simple exchange. Time, money. More time, more money. Less time, less money. So when it wants more money, it sacrifices more time. But time is limited. Rich thinking asks, how can I make each hour I work worth more? What skills can I acquire that let me charge more, create more, or own more? How can I use tools, systems, or people so that money is not directly chained to my hours only? This is leverage. Tools, skills, systems, people, media, code, capital. Things that allow one human being to produce more value than their raw hours would normally allow. Think of learning English, for example. A poor mindset sees it as more work, more effort. Maybe I'll do it later. A rich mindset sees it as, if I truly master English, I can access better jobs, international clients, remote work, global information, and higher paying opportunities. Same skill, different perception. For a poor mindset, learning is a cost. For a rich mindset, learning is an asset. Something that, once acquired, continues to pay you for the rest of your life. This is why rich people invest heavily in knowledge. Books, courses, coaching, real practice. Not because they like spending money, but because they understand. The right knowledge, applied with focus, multiplies income for decades. You might say, I don't have money to invest in anything. Then you must be twice as ruthless with your time. Because while you're waiting for money to invest, you can already be building. Your English, your technical skills, your communication, your understanding of money itself, your ability to focus deeply. The poor mindset waits for resources before starting. The rich mindset begins with whatever resources are available and grows them. Part 5. Victim mindset versus owner mindset. You cannot think like rich people while secretly living as a victim. Victim mindset sounds like this. Life is unfair. The system is against me. I never had opportunities. Other people are luckier. It's easy for them, not for me. Some of these things may even be true. Maybe you did grow up with fewer chances. Maybe you did face real injustice. Maybe the game is harder for you than for others. But here is the brutal reality. The universe does not pay you for how unfair your life was. It pays you for the value you bring despite that. Rich thinking does not deny injustice. It simply refuses to build an identity around it. Victim mindset focuses on blame. Owner mindset focuses on responsibility. Blame asks, whose fault is this? Responsibility asks, what can I do now? Blame keeps you emotionally satisfied for a moment. I'm not the problem. The world is. Responsibility is heavier. It forces you to admit, if I keep thinking and acting like this, my future will look like my past. Rich people, real, self-made ones, almost always carry this sentence inside. No one is coming to save me. If my life is going to change, I will be the one who changes it. This mindset is not comfortable. It is not soft. It is not cute, but it is powerful. You can always identify victim thinking by its favorite words. Always. Never. Can't. I'll never have that. People like me can't do that. This always happens to me. These words freeze your life. Owner mindset uses different language. Not yet. Difficult, but possible. If someone has done it, it can be done. Owner mindset looks at a hard reality and says, this is where I am. I don't like it, but I accept that it is my responsibility to move from here. Not my fault, but my responsibility. Fault looks backward. Responsibility looks forward. Part 6. Reprogramming your money. Mindset. Practical steps. Thinking like rich people is not about waking up tomorrow and pretending to be a billionaire in your head. It is about daily mental training that slowly rewires your beliefs, your reactions, and your choices. Here is a simple, hard protocol to start changing your money mindset from the inside out. Not theory. Practice. Step 1. Clean your money language. For the next 14 days, you will pay attention to how you speak about money. Every time you say something like, I'm always broke, money just disappears. I'll never be rich. Rich people are all bad. People like me can't afford that. You stop. You correct yourself. You don't have to replace it with fake positivity. But you must at least move from final statements to open questions or responsible statements. For example, instead of I'll never be rich, say, I don't know yet how to build wealth, but I can learn. Instead of I can't afford this, say, I can't afford this yet. What would I need to change to afford it in the future? Instead of money just disappears, say, I haven't been responsible with my money. I need to understand where it goes. Words are programs. You run them every day. Change the code. Step 2. Track your money without lying to yourself. Poor mindset loves vagueness. I earn this. I spend that. Somehow it's never enough. No numbers, no clarity, no responsibility. Rich mindset loves information. It wants to see how much is coming in, how much is going out, where it goes, what can be optimized. For the next 30 days, track every amount of money that comes in and every amount that goes out. No judgment, no drama, just data. Why? Because you cannot control what you refuse to see. Rich people know their numbers, even when they don't like them. Poor mindset avoids them, then complains. Step 3. Build one small, rich habit. Thinking like rich people without acting like them is fantasy. You must create at least one habit that represents wealth thinking in action. Examples. Put aside a small, fixed percentage of your income every month, even if it's tiny, to train the habit of keeping money, not just spending it. Dedicate a daily block of focused time to learn a skill that can increase your earning power. English, coding, sales, design, writing, etc. Spend 20-30 minutes a day reading or listening to content that teaches you about money, business, or personal finance, instead of random entertainment. The amount of money or time at the beginning is less important than the identity you are building. I am someone who treats money with respect and strategy. Step 4. Redefine what rich means to you. If rich in your mind means empty luxury, soulless people, cold hearts, and fake happiness, you will never fully move toward it. You need a new definition. For example, rich means having enough money to cover my needs without constant stress, having the freedom to choose how I spend my time, being able to help the people I love without destroying myself, being able to say no to toxic situations because I'm not financially trapped. Or, rich means having time, energy, and money aligned with my values. When rich stops being a symbol of corruption and becomes a symbol of freedom and responsibility, your mind will stop fighting it. You will stop thinking, if I become rich, I'll become a bad person, and start thinking, if I become rich, I can become a more generous, more independent, more useful person. Money does not change your character. It amplifies it. So your real work is to build a character that deserves to be amplified. Part 7. The poorest thing is a rich mind inside a poor identity. Maybe you are intelligent. Maybe you have ideas, talent, creativity, and ambition. But if deep down, you still see yourself as just a regular person, someone who doesn't deserve too much, someone who was born to stay small, you will live far below your mental capacity. That is the real tragedy. Not the person who starts with nothing, but fights. Not the person who loses money, but learns. The true tragedy is the person who has a rich mind trapped inside a poor identity. The person who could build, but doesn't. Who could grow, but stays. Who could rise, but chooses to lie down inside their excuses. Thinking like rich people is not about arrogance. It is about refusing to betray your own potential. You may never want a mansion, a sports car, or a luxury life. That's fine. But you do want to stop being controlled by bills, to have time to breathe, to have options, to protect your family, to say no when something is wrong for you, to use your talents fully. All of that requires a different mind. A mind that does not worship money, but also does not demonize it. A mind that respects risk, but does not freeze because of it. A mind that owns its reality, instead of only complaining about it. That is the mind you are training now. Part 8. Change your mindset. Change your direction. Your life does not change in one giant movement. It changes one mental shift at a time. Every time you refuse to speak badly about money in an automatic emotional way, choose to learn instead of only complain, accept responsibility instead of pure blame, take a small risk that could lead to growth, invest time into building skills instead of escaping from yourself. You are slightly turning the steering wheel of your life. Most people never turn it. They drive in circles, then scream that the road is unfair. Rich people in mindset are constantly adjusting the wheel, sometimes slowly, sometimes aggressively, but always with the awareness. I am not a passenger. I am the driver. You don't control the weather, the other cars, the condition of the road. But you do control how you hold that wheel. If you've listened this far, you already know this is not a typical get-rich message. There is no guarantee you'll become a millionaire. But here is what is guaranteed. If you continue thinking like a victim of money, if you continue repeating the same poor scripts, if you continue avoiding risk, avoiding responsibility, avoiding growth, then your future will look a lot like your past. If that is unacceptable, then this is your moment. Not to fantasize, but to commit. From today on, speak about money with awareness and respect. Treat learning as an investment, not a punishment. Replace "I can't" with "How can I?" Remember that risk includes the risk of doing nothing. And see rich not as an enemy to hate, but as a direction of freedom, responsibility, and expansion. You may still be broke today. You may still be in debt. You may still be lost. But if your mind starts changing, your direction will change. And direction is more important than speed. You've reached the end of Think Like Rich People. Change Your Mindset here on English Rise. If this message shook you, if it made you see your beliefs about money and yourself with new eyes, don't let it be just another video you forget tomorrow. Replay it when you need to realign. Use it as English listening practice and as mental reprogramming at the same time. Let the ideas sink in, not just into your vocabulary, but into your identity. And if you want more dark, honest, psychological content like this to grow both your English and your inner power, subscribe to English Rise. Change your mindset. Then change your moves. And slowly, your reality will have no choice but to follow.